and let's talk about that, because I think there are small businesses that, some don't even have a website, some or whatever, but like, I hear social media advertising, and I think some people sort of throw up their arms and they say, first of all, social media, that's just where people are talking about political debates, and it's just a bunch of stuff that it's nonsense. And social media advertising, now it's like, well, that seems like a waste of money. It's a bunch of millennials out there just talking about nothing. I think there's, I'm exaggerating a lot, but I think there's some perceptions about social media that people will immediately cast it off as, that's not really the right platform for me to expand my business presence on. So maybe talk first about, in a sense, justifying or validating social media as something to at least pay attention to.
So actually, a vast majority of adults in the US are on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube every day. When you look at the statistics for that, there's literally no other market you could find where you're going to get that kind of presence on a daily basis. And one of the beauties of social media advertising is that you don't have to pay ad spend to reach people who are not in your audience. So if your product is for middle-aged homemakers, you can target middle-aged homemakers, and you're not paying your ad spend to put your ad in front of, college students and high school students. You're going to hit the right target because Facebook uses various algorithms to determine who needs to see that. The same thing is true with Google ad spend. It's a little less straightforward with YouTube, but generally you're doing it not necessarily based on an age demographic. You're looking more at the types of content that people watch. So when you're attaching your ad on YouTube to the types of content that people are watching, you're making valuable ad spend choices.
So Kendra, with your services, are you able to help clients do that remarketing to grow their business?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And what does that kind of look like without giving us the secret sauce?
Oh, give
So,
us the secret sauce. We want all the secret sauce. I'm kidding.
so really, it's just setting up a series of codes for your website that collect that information and that data. And then when you attach that to your Facebook ad campaign or your Instagram ad campaign, they use that data to find those people. They're not going to give you an email list. Like I said, they're not going to put it out and tell you these are the people, but they're going to use that data to go back and put your ad up in front of these people. The other cool thing about it, though, is that with Facebook and Instagram algorithms, they actually measure and target, and they will find people who are like your audience, who are most likely to click on your ad, follow through to your website, make a purchase, connect with you, whatever the target of your campaign is. They're going to find others who share similarities. So they are constantly analyzing and building more algorithms in social media to determine, if this housewife over here in this county likes this, there are 70 other housewives with a similar type of demographic or similar things that they've liked or interacted with. We're going to try the ad in front of them because if she likes it, most likely they will like it as well. And so that's the beauty of it, is that you don't have to do all those things yourself. It would be completely overwhelming to try to go through and wade through hundreds of thousands, millions of people online every day and pick, these are the 600 people who are most likely to purchase from me.
Sure.
Facebook is going to work through that with some support and help from me in honing our campaign. They're going to work through that to be able to help put our ad in front of the most likely people who want that ad. Because the reality is Facebook also benefits from that too. They want people to be getting relevant, meaningful ads that matter to them and that are products that they want to use, because that means people feel good about Facebook. If you're constantly getting an ad that doesn't apply to you, or that you don't like, or that is not something you're interested in, you are less likely to spend your time on Facebook. Their user statistics drop, people will pull their ad spend, like it's a cycle. So of course, Facebook is highly motivated to keep that in front of you.
I'm familiar with the pay-per-click and Facebook ads, but on this remarketing tool you're using by putting on their website, is that basically a pay-per-click? So if I'm sending something to Steve Fredland 87 times, am I paying for his eyeballs to see that over and over again on the remarketing tool?
No, because the remarketing tool is just gathering your data for you. What's happening is when you set up your ad campaign, you're paying for your independent views. So you're paying for you're paying for your reach. Now, it depends on the different type of campaign you have. You may be setting up a conversion campaign where what you're actually calculating and working through is the cost per conversion, which means the cost for someone to actually go to your site and make a purchase, follow all the way through. And so the statistics that you're going to get through your ads manager are going to tell you how much it costs for your conversion. And when I talk with clients about that, there are times when we're having a conversation and they're going, oh, $10 for a conversion is really high. And then we have a conversation and we go, except that you made a $150 sale. If I tell you, give me $10 and you're going to get a $150 customer, and then you have the chance to keep that customer through exceptional customer service, through then sending them, they've entered their email. You now have this for an email list so you can contact them with a new product release or a special sale. They're worth more than $10 to you over the lifetime. So we look at a number of things. If we're just doing a traffic campaign and we're looking for clicks, we're looking for likes or follows or any of those things. We look at the each individual one. It's not counted as twice if that happens. And the remarketing code that we use doesn't cost you anything to use. It factors into how effective your ads are at retargeting people, but you don't pay for that code.
The first thing I think of with that, I'm like, okay, this sounds great. Like, I would love to set one up for myself. But it seems so chaotic. It seems like so many moving parts. Like, the service that you provide, is it simply, okay, we get together, we figure it out, we develop a strategy, and then you just tell me what I need when I need to provide it? Like, you would just tell me, hey, I need you to do this video or something? Or is that like a content manager that's sort of a different role? Or how would it actually look from my experience if I said, all right, I want to do this, I want an advertising funnel, I want the world to know who I am, more about me, and eventually that leads to trusting me to become a member at SSB?
Okay, so one of the things that I go over with people is we talk about both their short-term goals and their long-term goals. So when we're building our sales funnel, we're keeping in mind what that long-term goal is. So some of my artists, it's that they want to be able to bring in other artists. They want to get to the point where they have enough sales and enough brand recognition to bring in additional artists into their business and company and be able to sponsor some of these starting out struggling artists to get a start with this. So we're always thinking with that end goal in mind, that this is where you want your business headed. And then we take a look at where we're currently at. So some of that's looking at our page statistics and how many website hits, how many purchases we have. And it really is a process because it takes time for it to come back and give you results.
But are there any like types of businesses that are like, if you're not doing this, you're really missing out? Like, you've got sort of like low frequency, high value type of things, people that are building a house or selling a yacht, and then you've got sort of I'm selling, high quantity, small price jewelry. You've got membership / recurring things like we do. Are there any, and I know it's a broad swath, but are there any sort of structures or even industries where you're saying, boy, this is so fantastic for you that if you're not doing this, you really need to at least look into this as an option?
So I would say that if you're in any kind of e-commerce, you really need to be doing social media advertising. If you're not actively out there recruiting for sales, there are billions of websites around the world. They're going to be going somewhere else. People shop online a lot, and you're going to be losing those sales. At the moment, for businesses that have been impacted by COVID-19, one of the recommendations that I have had for a lot of places is to offer a coupon or a discount or sell a gift voucher or something along those lines to try to get people back in. I know a ton of restaurants in my small town were offering carry out and takeaway during this time, but they weren't doing any kind of advertising for it. So either you knew or you didn't know, and even it wasn't even posted on their Facebook. You had to call them. I was like, who does that these days? Like, I mean, it's one of those things where they got some people to come in, the people who knew those who worked there or whatever, because it is a small town. But on the flip side of it, you could have had more people come. So